This is Up for Grabs, a podcast where three unfiltered friends talk about anything and everything. And now, here are your hosts, Tracy, Kim, and Rachel.
Welcome to Up for Grabs. I'm Rachel. I'm here with my wise friends, Kim.
Hello.
And Tracy.
Also wise
Okay.
Tracy.
Thank you. Hi.
Today on Up for Grabs we're kind of in a bit of transition. Our videographer,
Yes.
our
Production manager.
staging, lighting.
Lighting, everything.
He's gotten a better offer. Is that what we're to understand?
Well, yeah.
Good for him.
He left us high and
It
dry.
didn't take a lot to get better than us, but good for him anyway.
Considering we weren't paying him, I think anything was probably better than listening to us talk and setting up lights.
Well, tell us what Jack's doing.
So if you didn't know, Jack was the person who was putting us on YouTube and getting us to look, ageless and wonderful. And he was finishing up his master's degree. He's going to have a master's like in media. And so this is his last semester, and his last semester required him to work 40 hours a week.
I don't understand why he couldn't fit us in.
I know
so
why
I
he
find
can't
that-
fit us in. I don't know. But so we, he told me, you guys can do it. It's easy. And I'm like, no, we'll just take a break from doing YouTube and just go back to the old way.
I mean, we still can put this on YouTube, but just have like a static picture, right? Like we just put the logo up and people can.
Yeah, you could.
we
and,
could.
I mean, it's
what's gonna
very
happen.
easy. Yeah,
Correct.
we could.
Okay.
If you know how to put it up on YouTube.
I think I do.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know how the
try
preferred
it.
method on how people listen to podcasts. If you have an Apple phone, it's super easy because it's already, in your settings and all that stuff. But I don't know. If you're at work or whatever, I guess, get on YouTube
So-
and you can just listen.
So Jack has transitioned to something bigger and better. He started here. I want him to put that on his resume, though. So
Yeah,
when he wins
believe me,
something,
he will.
Okay, I want him to remember us when he hits it big.
When he hits it big, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't recorded in quite some time. I'm sure you've all noticed, and
You've felt our absence.
we've been getting a lot of calls about that. Tracy, what has been going on with you over the past couple of months? Get everybody up to date.
Well, I forgot, but you reminded me that I had a surgery.
I had major surgery. Yeah,
Yes. I had hyperparathyroidism, which is behind the thyroid, and I had a growth on it that was removed, and
I understand that
well.
you did say that the doctors didn't know that it could have affected your voice. It could have. This is your livelihood,
Yeah,
for God's sake.
It is, except for I don't make any money at it. But,
Correct.
Yes, it could have affected my voice because it was in my right next to my vocal cords, and so they monitored the nerves the entire time, and it unfortunately or fortunately did not affect my voice. I kind of had hoped for a good singing voice, but
Like Mariah Carey.
yeah,
something like
that
Yeah.
just did whatever. And they really didn't know what way it could go. It could just damage, and then it would be a surprise to everyone, but it wasn't damaged. So that's good. I'm healing. Not 100% yet, but feeling better. I was deficient in pretty much every vitamin and mineral because this wasn't working right.
Okay.
So I am
Now you're absorbing them all.
absorbing them all, I think. I'm doing heavy doses of pretty much everything to try to get it all back into sync. And some days I feel better than others, but I'm on the path, and I think I will feel better soon.
I'm happy to hear that. And that
Yeah.
I know it's scary because you weren't guaranteed that you were necessarily going to feel better. It's kind of like they thought.
Yes.
So you just kind of had to put a lot of
Fingers crossed.
trust in that.
And I was, when I was in like 7th grade, this is so ridiculous. I don't know why I'm telling this story, but I have a scar that's about 4 inches across my throat. But when I was in 7th grade, there was some movie on TV, and I don't know the name of it, but it was scary. And it was on regular TV because we didn't have cable. But there was this, like, it was like in a mental hospital, and there was a person that walked around, and they had their hands on their necks the entire time because they thought their head would fall off. And so, like, this during the whole movie, that there's these different characters, and there's this person whose hands were constantly holding their neck, and towards the end of it, this doctor tried to, I think it was a doctor, I don't remember, I'm going way back, but tried to convince this patient that that wasn't going to happen. So behind him, he clapped and the person turned and his head fell off. So I was a little bit, I don't know the name of it, but I was a little bit afraid my head was going to fall off.
Was
But
it
in
Robbie
fact,
Benson?
I
Was it Robbie Benson? I feel like he could have been in that.
No, I was thinking The Boy in the Bubble, but that also was not Robbie Benson. That was John Travolta. Okay, I digress. Continue.
How did they pull off that visual effect though?
I
Back
don't
in
think
the
it
day,
was
I can't
very
even
good.
imagine how horrible it was.
It was like 1982 or something. I don't think it was good graphics.
so your head's not going to fall off, as far as we know.
To my knowledge, no, it is not.
Okay, Kim, what's been up for the past month and a half?
Well, nothing of no surgeries.
No?
That's good.
Yeah.
On the topic of Jack, God love his heart, I have my own cleaning business. It's just me, just Kim's cleaning. And he has been helping me the last 18 months since he's been in graduate school because his classes were at night.
Right.
And he had time during the day and hey, he got paid. So he was my duster and my sweeper for 18 months. And since he's gone to work full time, I have been transitioning to cleaning by myself again.
Oh no.
And I'm not going to lie, it's been a little tough. It's been a tough transition. Not only is it lonely because I was used to having him,
Right.
he doesn't talk anyways, he's very quiet, but just to have help, have somebody in the car with you. He moved out as well, moved in with his cousin. So
How dare he be living his life?
3 years old and he moved out.
Good for
Damn him.
him.
And now I'm transitioning to having both the girls home from school and
Do any of them want to dust?
no.
Okay.
I got a hard no. And I don't think I'd want them to because they would do nothing but complain. But it used to be when I was am a mom, that when the kids were done with school for the summer, it was like, woohoo, it's summer. Well, when you have two teenagers, well, Maddie's 20, at home,
It's woohoo.
it's not fun. And, they're both working and but we're all transitioning
Yes.
into a different routine. So,
I've got similar at my house. So,
yes.
Yeah.
So,
And I have similar at my house.
yeah.
As much as it's fun to have Lillian home for the summer, I have gotten in my own little groove.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know. All of a sudden I'm like, yeah, you don't live here full time.
Yep.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun to have a pal to do stuff with. Speaking of which, she and I just got back from Knoxville. We went to see Paul McCartney because Kim told us to.
And
we had a good time. Knoxville from Indy is about 5 hours, so it's not terrible, but it's not something you just want to do. I don't know. Lillian loves a car trip. Like she enjoys like the playlist and the car
Yes.
just as much as
yeah.
whatever
It's part
we're
of
doing.
the trip. Yeah.
She embraces it. So she made a playlist, 9 hours worth of music,
Nice.
no
Wow.
skips. Yeah, no, she put Paul McCartney's playlist that she found off the internet, so we could kind of have a pre-Paul, and then stuff that she liked, and then stuff that we both liked, and then put it on shuffle, and it was just, it was fun.
Nice.
It was fun. We got to Knoxville. We thought they were an hour earlier.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and they're not. So I said, Lillian, I made a dinner reservation at 4:45. She goes, Mom, we're not supposed to get there till 5:15. I go, what are you talking about? It only takes 5 hours. And she's like, I know, but there's no time difference. And I'm like, but Dad told us there was a time difference.
Okay. Mistake right there. Why'd you believe Rob?
Because Rob knows everything.
I know.
That is true.
Yeah, I wouldn't have fact
And
checked that. I would have
and he-
believed it.
He prides himself in time zone. Like he just knows this stuff. And I
I hope you didn't tell him. I hope you just let him
Well,
think he was right.
When we figured it out that we were just going to get in at 5, we had time to change our clothes, get ready, walk. We walked to the event, have dinner. I mean, we just barely had time to get that in. And I said, get on the phone and call Dad. and because she's smart and knows him, she goes, no, he'll feel so bad and it'll ruin his night and he'll feel guilty and he'll make a big deal about it. And I'm like, oh, you're right. Okay, wait, we'll wait. So we waited till we were on our ride home. And when we were about at Edinburgh, we called him. I said, and by the way, and it was so funny because he said, no way. And he was double checking. Like we had been in Knoxville. We
Correct.
knew what time it was. He had to double check and he was crushed. He's like, I'm so sorry.
It must be one of those states where it's just like that fine line. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't notify him. So anyway, but the actual concert was fun. It was one of those things that you really felt, I kind of felt like, I got to pay attention. I got to remember this because I feel like, it's
Because
like
he's
the only
like
time
a
I'm
legend.
going to
Yeah.
see him. So I was trying to be like hyper present. I did enjoy the fact that it was all ages. Like I was with Lil and next to Lil was like a person my age with her mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one guy though, and Lillian and I were making fun of him, this man that looked to be a little bit younger than I, so I would say he was in his 40s, comes walking up. I mean, we were up in the nosebleeds. He comes walking up the nosebleeds past us with two kids who were both carrying books. One of them had the Hunger Games. I'm like, no. I know how much I paid for those tickets. I am not dragging my kids to a concert for them to freaking read a book when they're in the presence of
Greatness.
Greatness.
I don't know. Yeah. He's like my favorite. We saw him in DC.
Oh God.
Maybe
he's amazing.
Maybe he just wanted them to be able to say that they saw it, but they weren't into it. Like
was a
what?
waste
I
of
don't
money.
know.
Or he didn't have a babysitter. I mean, that's bizarre.
It's bizarre. And I'm like, okay. So the thing that I was, I thought was interesting, I wasn't a huge Wings fan, so I didn't.
Oh, I love Wings.
Well, not that I
You didn't
don't
realize
like
how
him.
much you
I
how many
didn't
good
realize
Wings
how
songs
yeah.
there are.
So he played quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I recognized the songs, and I thought, oh my God, I forgot that was a
I
Wings song.
know.
But how does he even choose which Beatles songs?
I don't know.
Because some
yeah,
of them
'cause
were
for
kind
like
of
a 3-hour concert, he can't even touch
no.
a fraction of all the songs he's had that are hits.
He's so
even if he did all his hits,
the
there wouldn't be-
storytelling alone.
Yeah.
Well, and
the-
that's when Lillian said, she's like, Mom, I'm glad I went. She's like, I knew, I understand that it's a big deal. She's like, but then he started talking and I was like, that's him. He's like here, right there.
yeah, it's surreal.
Because she said that he started telling a story and it was kind of, talk about, remember when we did the thing about our celebrity dinner party?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which one of you had Paul McCartney?
I think I
I don't
did.
even know because we all like him. So I don't know.
I think I did.
I think you did.
Yeah.
And remember I believe it was Kim that said, yeah, but it'd be hard to have Paul McCartney there because he can name drop so many, he can one up so many things.
Oh, because he's
Okay,
yeah.
so get this one up. So we're sitting there at the concert and he's like, well, that reminds me of the time when we released Sgt. Pepper and 2 weeks later, Jimi Hendrix had already learned the whole thing and played it live. I saw, back in the 60s when we were hanging out in London, and she elbows me so hard. She's like, what is even going on?
I know. And you forget that he's as old as, I mean, not that he's ancient, but you forget that how much of a life he's lived.
He's turning 80 this month. So
And that is unreal.
he did do a fun thing, and I assume he does it at every concert. I like that he gave props to all that had
Yeah.
to do with his success. So
Yeah.
he sang a really cute ukulele
Yes.
rendition
Yep.
of George Harrison's song, which was adorable. He sang a song for John Lennon, and then he sang one with John Lennon. Like they had used the tracks that Peter Jackson cleaned up for the
Yeah, I don't know if
documentary.
I remember the last time I saw him, he didn't do that.
And he sang his part, and then the part where John
Oh.
came in, they had him up on the screen, and it was like digitally done, so it sounded good.
Oh, that's neat.
Kind of gave me chill. I was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
this is kind of cool.
That's
So anywho,
neat.
that's what I've been up to. I've just been doing that and going to a lot of high school graduation parties.
I haven't. So good for you.
Well, you've been to one, you've been to them all.
Yeah.
But
I don't like them, and no offense to anyone. I mean, my daughter's going to be a senior next year, and we already reserved space. And it's
you
how-
reserved your space
well,
already?
I have an inn at St. Mark, but I wanted to make sure that I
Clear
had.
it.
She wanted to do it the day of graduation, which that's fine. I'm going to do it. And we're going to be done. But it's sad that I'm already thinking, ugh, like
Yeah.
ugh.
It's just a lot of planning, and then you don't really feel like you talk to anyone.
It-
and
it
costs
is. It's
money,
just-
all of it.
You have to do it, but it's just
Yeah, and I've been to a few, and it got me thinking. That's how I came up with today's topic for Up for Grabs. Even though what we've been doing in our lives has been pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We could, and how?
Spanky?
I decided that I would love to hear all of our commencement speeches that we would give to the class of 2022. Now, this could be for either high school or college grads. I think the advice would be the same, right?
Yeah.
And you know how they ask like really famous people that didn't necessarily go to the university or whatever
Yes.
to come and give the speech?
Do I get an honorary degree
Yeah,
from
honorary
somewhere?
degree, yes,
An
exactly.
up for grabs degree.
We are doctorates. Yeah, honorary doctorates. So I thought it would be interesting because I usually find those speeches boring.
Yeah, sometimes.
Like I don't even want to, as the graduate, I don't want to hear it. I just want to go home.
Yeah, and I don't like when they get too personal. Like, give one anecdote about your life, but then
Yeah.
don't keep going. It's not all about
Wrap
you.
it up. Yeah.
Make it about us, or I'm you lost me.
Yeah, I haven't been to a lot of college graduations. I mean, you know, like Jack chose not to go to
Right.
his. I do remember my husband graduated from law school. Dan Quayle was the commencement speaker.
Well.
I couldn't tell you a thing he said. I mean, it's been a long time ago, but they
I
are
was rude
boring.
to him once. Just
Do what?
As a name dropper, I was rude to him once. I
Oh.
wasn't rude. I'll tell you.
You just
the story
said you
later.
were.
I'll tell you the story later.
No, I want to hear it now.
Okay, all it was I was in high school and he was speaking at something. And my dad was big in the Democratic Party in Indianapolis back in the day. And for some reason, I felt obligated to tell this man, I'm never going to vote for you because my parents are big Democrats and I am too, whatever. Like, I don't know. I was like 16, 17. And he said,
Oh, and he was
okay.
rude?
And then he said, well, who's your dad? And I told him my dad's name. He goes, oh, yeah, no, you won't ever vote for me. Because he knew my dad. So that was funny. And I
That
said,
is.
okay.
And you
That
know what?
is funny.
Knowing what we know about Dan Quayle now, good choice not to
Yeah,
vote for
I'm
him.
okay with
so
it.
yeah, it's,
I always
I'm
look
comfy.
at Dan Quayle as just kind of being dumb.
Here I was
But-
not going to name drop today, and there I
There
name
you go.
dropped.
You try not to,
There
but
you go.
you can't escape it. You can't
I also
outrun
know
it
the head of security for Paul McCartney in Montauk. But okay, now I'm done. Now I'm done with name dropping.
until we
I
talk
held
about
on
the
to
next
that
thing.
one. I held on to that. Yeah, I didn't say it.
I'm so proud of you.
She did say it.
What
That was for Joe
restraint?
Schaefer.
Yes.
What restraint you showed. Okay. Okay, so yes, I mean, and we're not going to give formal speeches, but I would just like to hear your top bullet points that you would tell the graduating children of this period of time. So who would like to go first with some of their bullet points? Oh my God, nobody wants
I don't
to
care. It doesn't matter to me if I go first, middle, last. Is anybody ready
go.
to
Then
go?
I'd like for you to go.
Well, crap. No, I'm just kidding.
Give
I'm
me
fine.
one. Give me one.
Okay. I'm just going to go through them. They're not in order.
Okay.
Okay. So, number one, be kind. I could stop there, but I'm not going to. But if there was anything I'd say to anyone moving forward in your life is be kind. And if you can't be kind, be quiet. Lots of people could stand to do that. And speaking of being quiet, speak up for those who don't have a voice or have a quieter voice. Or don't have a seat at the table. If you're at the table that doesn't have seats for others, get up and move to a bigger table.
I like the table.
Yeah. And I'm speaking, physically and metaphorically.
Yes.
Care less what other people think of you and more what you think about yourself.
Good.
Maintain a healthy lifestyle, but don't give up pizza or ice cream. Just figure out a way to do both.
Good.
Don't ever try drugs. You don't know what someone's putting in them. You can't trust anyone, even if it's a friend.
Yep.
I hope that's not too, by the time they're hearing this, I hope it's not too late for that message.
I don't know though. I hope not either. But if you're listening now,
Yeah.
don't do drugs. I still tell my kids regularly, and they're like, "Mom, we know." And I'm like, "But you might forget. You might be somewhere and think it's Susie.
Today's the
it's
day."
Susie. I trust her. Well, Susie doesn't know. She
Yeah.
didn't grow it. Where'd she get it? I don't know. So that's
I
what
don't
I think
trust
about
Susie.
that. I don't trust Susie. If you marry at all, marry the first time for money and the second time for love.
Wow.
Just throw that out there.
She's saying what everybody's thinking.
She's keeping it
Because
real.
then, for one, when you're old, like a second time, nobody wants to marry you for money. So that's not even an option. But if you marry the first time for money, secure the bag, then have your kids, you have the money to take care of them. It seems like a good plan.
I like the hindsight on that. Yeah.
So that's what I've got on that. I don't know if that was on you guys' list.
The bag did not make my list.
If your brain will allow it, go into tech. They seem to have the most amount of money and a lot of free time. So if you could figure
Where
out
are you
tech-
getting these generalities? They have the most free time?
Yeah, tech people seem like they work from home. You see them at the beach doing stuff a lot of times. I'm not talking about the people that like manually work on the material,
Oh.
but the people that like software developers,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
They develop wherever they want to develop.
Yeah,
They
you're
are-
right.
yeah,
They're
and
not tied down to an office.
Yeah, they're working smarter, not harder. And I'm here to tell you that's not a bad idea. I can get behind that.
I can get behind it too.
Take lots of photos, but not perfect or staged. There's a new app called Be Real, for those of you who may not know.
What's that?
And you only can post once a day. And it tells you you have 2 minutes to take a picture. And that's the only post you can post later, but it tells everyone Tracy posted 6 hours late. So did Tracy take the time to get ready and fix her hair and do whatever? Or
Are you
was
allowed
she
to
real?
edit it or anything?
No.
That's awesome.
There's no
Yeah.
editing. And it takes a picture of the front and the back of your camera. So you might be situated in a room where everything right behind you looks great.
Yeah.
And in front of you is a big pile of
Right.
dirty clothes and stuff. It takes a front and back photo. And it's called Be Real. And I find it interesting what people choose to put on there. And those who wait forever and then look good, I think, well, you weren't very real.
You cheated.
You cheated. But that's okay. The combination of music and fresh air can heal. I don't have scientific data to back that up, but anecdotally, I can tell you that I think it works.
So go to Lollapalooza.
So go to Lollapalooza, or go for a walk with your headphones, or drive in your car with the windows down. I think that combination matters. Dr. Tracy. Go on small trips with your friends. I'm just trying to get us to go on another trip. I
Wow,
don't really
she
know.
just-
It's
I
important.
just thought it was in the speech, so I thought we should do that. Spend less. Forgive easily and quickly, not for the other person, but yourself. And believe in something, whatever it is. Doesn't matter.
You have a lot of advice.
I am a sage.
She's a what?
She's a sage.
I couldn't say it with a straight face. I'm a sage. I do have a lot of advice. Nobody wants to hear it, but I've got a lot of it.
Well, I appreciated the thoughtfulness. That was long, very comprehensive.
Was I the long-winded one that everyone was waiting
Everyone
for
was
me to wrap
walking
it
out.
up?
No.
Yeah, everyone said, I thought Dan Quayle wasn't coming. And then like, yeah.
And then here I am.
No, I think that you were very comprehensive. You had be kind and marry first for the money. So I think
Covered all the bases.
it's a happy life right there.
I didn't say be mean to the rich guy, so
No, be kind.
be
Be
kind to
kind.
him too. Know what I'm saying? All
Well,
right,
I just
go
think you
on.
got a standing ovation for that. Kim,
Thank you.
Kim, did you have some bullet points for the class of 2022?
I did, and I did a little different approach. I don't know. My mind just went crazy when I was like thinking about this. I was thinking of like, being invited to like, I don't know, probably like an online university's commencement speech.
I thought you were going to say Harvard, so I'm really
no, like an online, and then I'm like doing it Zoom, and I come out with my cap and gown and all my fake ropes, and then I have blaring like, "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to
wow.
get through this thing called life."
Wow, you went Prince.
Oh, I did. Okay,
I love that.
That's so
intro.
dramatic.
but yeah, and I'm sure that's probably been used before.
I
But,
doubt it.
I'm just trying to be different.
Would you have put a purple robe on?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, definitely.
I'm seeing it.
And I did say fake,
Yeah.
my fake all that I'm like summa cum whatever.
Loudy, yeah.
So basically, this is kind of how I looked
Okay.
at it. Congratulations for finishing 4 years of the worst social experiment of your life. You went through the awkwards your freshman year. You were either in puberty or going through puberty. You had to find a freaking friend group. You left your grade school friends and you had to find a friend group. Then you had the pressure of excelling in sports and academics. You just wanted to decide if you wanted to be a wallflower or be the outgoing, shiny star. And then you had your first relationship or your first breakup. And that's a lot of life in 4 years. And it sounds like I'm being a Debbie Downer, but when you look at a snapshot of high school, it's a lot. It's a lot of growing up. It's a lot of expectations. And now they're telling you, you better pick a college, you better pick a career, and you better have it all figured out.
Yeah, and by like freshman year, not even all the way through senior year.
So that's where having two kids, one that's finished college, one that's in the middle of college, that's kind of where I took a step back. College isn't for everyone. Parents and students put a lot of pressure on themselves. Check it off the list. Your grades, your athletics, your popularity, your top colleges, your career path. And this is kind of where I'm along the lines with Tracy. Whatever happened to molding yourself into a compassionate, hardworking, responsible, kind human being. That's what the focus should be. I'm not saying don't go to school or don't elect to go in the job force and sit in your mom and dad's basement and do nothing with your life, but to put the pressure of the world on your shoulders when you are 18 years old is unrealistic, and it's not talked about. There is nothing wrong with wanting all the above, but there are a fair number of kids who just need the support and approval to navigate it at their own pace. There are several things in life that no one can prepare you for. One, if you choose this in your life, is bringing home a newborn. No amount of books, no amount of preparation is going to prepare you for the fear of keeping that baby alive.
I like that point, Kim, because I remember when I was pregnant with my son, my first baby, someone bought me that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting, and I read one thing, and I was so mad that I knew it was coming, like it wasn't something I was looking forward to, that I didn't even read the book, and I think I was better off not.
You almost are better off
reading
not.
the book.
Except for the basic, like, life-saving
Sure.
type things. Feed them, that's
Yeah.
important.
Sure.
Get their shots. Another one, if you choose this route in your life, is no one prepares you for the first year of marriage. There's no book. There's no counseling. There's no pre-marriage, whatever. It's tough and it's hard. And no one can prepare you for entering adulthood. It's a lot of bumps in the road. It's not perfect for everyone. The world makes it seem like it's magical. But my advice would be to really put it all out there. If it's something that you need to write down, if you need to talk to a professional, if you need to talk to a career counselor, a therapist, you need to prepare for entering adulthood as best you can. Weigh your options, research your career paths, and most importantly is mix in a healthy dose of fun. So people, and so I just kind of, went with that. And then my closing, people will remember you for the type of human being you are, how you treated others, what your work ethic is, and your enthusiasm for life. People will not remember the college that you went to, whether you lived at home, whether you chose to go directly into the workforce, how much money you make. Those are the things when you're dead and gone, no one's going to remember. You don't have to set the bar outside of who you are.
Oh, that's adorable.
Sure.
She even ended it in a
And I'm not lying, because typically I'm not, like, I was really nervous about this. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say that's going to be impactful, because I knew we would all kind of have different routes, like, like how we would approach it, because sometimes I don't give myself like the credit that I can like come up with. I'm not a very good writer, but I'm telling you what, when I sat down last night, it was like spewing from my brain. And I don't think I would have been able to do that had I not had kids.
Right.
Our kids went to college through a pandemic. So it even like highlighted more things to me, that how important it is for our mental health to take a step back from the pressures of the world. It's bad enough they have to deal with social media and they have to deal with just the weight of the world as it is right
really
now.
Is a lot, yeah.
But turning 18 and going in those next 4 years of your life, they're challenging.
It's not magical.
Just as
it's
much
rough.
fun.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, I would say the majority of college students, if you interviewed them after 4 years, would say those were hard. Those were tough years.
Yeah.
So balancing it all.
What was your last point again? Tell me again.
So I didn't even
The one
mean
that
to
rhymed.
rhyme.
Yeah, I know, but it
says
was good.
You don't have to set the bar outside of who you are.
I like that. In other words, stay within yourself and quit trying to set your standards based on what other people
Exactly.
expect or are doing. I think there is, always even in our generation, always comparing yourself to someone else.
Yeah, I think
So
it's human nature.
Right.
did this. But now with social media and more ways to know exactly what people are doing, I think it's even more, obnoxious that kids have to compare themselves and really see what everyone else is doing. And maybe they're not really even doing it.
Right.
I mean, maybe these people that are posting
And I don't want to sound like, because I said I kind of sound passive aggressive, or I kind of sound like there was a bad experience that I had or about it. I just think it's just being real.
Right.
I mean, there's good. you feel like you raise good human beings. That's the most important thing to me. It's just raising a good human being that's going to make good choices.
Right.
Are they going to fail?
Sure.
Are they going to mess up? Are they going to this? No, I just want them to be a functioning, productive citizen.
Yes.
That wants to make the world a better place. That's all I want.
I like that. And unfortunately, that's not what's taught in school.
No, it's not.
It's not. That's something
Think of
you
the
really
last
have
couple
to
of months of
choose.
your senior year. I know for us, now these kids are, have you applied to this? And have you applied for the scholarship? And have you done this? And have you decided who your roommate's going to be? And have you decided what your career, that's a lot for a mind that's not even fully developed,
Yeah.
so.
And I think they fret about a lot of things that don't need to be fretted about. I don't know.
Yeah. So
I like it, Kim. I like what you've done. I had a lot of similar points. I did, one of my points, the first point was congratulations on weathering the ups and downs of school, and being persistent when things were bad to push through it and get by. You don't have to get all A's. You just need to get by. And I think that's an important lesson for a lot of people to learn. Another thing I had on my list of things to tell the class of 2022 was to have a plan, but be flexible. And I think, Tracy, you kind of touched on that.
Yep.
I'm like, because no plan is going to go the way you plan it, but I don't think you get anywhere without a plan. Like,
yes.
Like if you just sit back and say, well, I'm going to wait for the world to come to me.
That doesn't work.
I found out that it doesn't work.
Well,
I've been doing it for the
sorely
past
disappointed
50
with this news.
But a lot of people think, well, whatever will be, will be. And so they just sit there and wait. No, you need to have a plan and be following it. And maybe your plan will lead you in a different direction you didn't know. But if you're not even actively pursuing something in your life, nothing's going to happen.
No, you're right.
The other thing I put, and I think this is important, I say for girls more, but that might just be a sexist thing I just said, to trust your gut and your intuition. I think sometimes as a woman, young woman, I don't know,
We are more in touch with, I believe
we are, and I think we're less likely to follow it, like not confident enough to go ahead and maybe go against the grain, like because
We're waiting for permission when we don't need it.
Correct. Or being polite when you don't need to be polite, when it's not good. I mean, men can get away with that and it seems to be okay usually. But my point was just, trust your gut and that intuition is real and that sometimes it's just a whisper and sometimes it is a scream and you need to learn to stop and listen to that and trust that it's right. I'd say 9 times out of 10, it's right.
Yeah, I agree.
Other thing I put was go for it. I mean, right now is a time in your life to take a risk. I mean, I'm 50 with kids and responsibilities and things to do. Now's not the time for me to go off to Hollywood. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. But a lot of people think, well, now I've graduated and the normal path is I get a job here, then I get, I'm dating this girl. I might as well marry her because now
I'm 24. It's time.
It's time to get married and have, now I would say is a time if you have a lofty goal to go ahead and go for it.
You can be a little more risky.
Yes.
You're young. You
don't want to get old and regret. I never tried to do this or that when you could have.
Right.
You could have. And along those lines, don't necessarily take no for an answer. I think a lot of people, when told no the first time about something, think, well, that wasn't meant to be. So I'm done with that. This one person said no, so I'm not going to pursue this. Along the lines of being a risk taker, and now's the time that you can. Don't take no for an answer. Just keep going. And the last 2 things were kind of small, but I think they're important. It kind of goes along with both of you, like, be kind. I put write thank you notes. I think thank you notes are something that, first of all, people don't send anything through the mail anymore.
No.
But I still love getting letters in the mail. In fact, I want to bring that back.
You and I are going to have a discussion about this.
Are you going to write me a letter about it? Or
No, I'm just going to tell
You're
you
gonna
about
talk
it
to
because
me?
I'm not going to write it. Go ahead,
Are
continue.
you against letter writing?
I'm against forced letter writing. I'm against forced thank yous. I don't feel appreciated when their mom made them write me a thank you note.
Well, that's not the kind of thank you note I'm talking
All
about.
right, continue.
I'm talking about being mindful and grateful for
And thankful.
everything
Absolutely.
in your life, but actually bothering to tell someone.
I would thoroughly enjoy that.
Yes.
And I mean, there was a time when that's what you did. You didn't have.
I mean, maybe put a
email or-
$5
or
bill
you-
in it. I don't know.
Yeah, give me $5 and thank
Grandma
me. And then
always
I want
did.
a letter.
Yeah, go buy
No,
yourself
but
a
I'm
soda
saying
pop.
not just like you gave me a gift and now
Okay.
I'm writing this because I
But
write the
thank
same.
you
No,
for
like a
being a
genuine-
good friend.
Yes.
Yes, or
You are a good card. You send cards.
You
I
do.
love a
You're
good
very
card.
good, and they're beautiful cards too.
Yeah, unless they cuss and then they're sent to me. But I
You
think
deserve
you
them.
send beautiful cards. to us.
Affirmations. It's really. I couldn't think of the word.
yeah.
Just
Yes.
let somebody know you're thinking about them.
I just think it's something that doesn't happen. But when you are mindful about it and you're like, you know what, I just talked to so-and-so and I hadn't talked to so-and-so in a really long time and it made me feel good. And you just send them something and I think there's something about getting something in the mail.
there is.
I mean, the email is fine. You're like, okay. I mean, there's some effort in that. But receiving something in the mail, I think is
So
like
you want
super
the
fun.
full
I want a
enchilada,
stamp.
the
I want a
whole mail.
stamp.
All right.
Maybe a fun stamp. I don't know.
A forever stamp, does it have to be one that
Has to have a heart on it.
For? All right.
But no, so not just in terms of like thank you notes for job interviews or,
Yeah.
the typical things, but just in general,
Okay.
being thankful, grateful, and then actually expressing it. My way is through an actual physical note through the mail, but I guess you could pick your way. And the last thing I put was I would encourage the class of 22 to keep learning. And I don't mean like go to classes. I mean like just read about things that interest you or that should interest you, that
Yeah.
you feel like you should know about, like educate yourself.
Yes.
Education is an ongoing process, and just don't say, well, I got my degree and now I'm never going to read anything ever again.
Yeah, even if it's like find a passion. Like
Yeah.
if mine is pop culture.
Yeah.
I love it. I feel like it keeps me young and it keeps me in the know.
You're on edge. Yeah, you're edgy.
Yeah, and it's like I don't care how old I am. I'm always gonna read TMZ. I just am.
If your kids roll their eyes at you, and they probably do, but part of them is glad, there is some connection there that you can talk about something
Yeah.
that is pertinent to them in
Yeah.
some fashion.
But I totally agree with you. It's okay to you don't have to go to class, but you
Right.
can find something you're passionate about, and it keeps you young. It keeps your brain sharp.
it does, and just be curious. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, George.
Well, curious, George, I was going Ted Lasso because remember in Ted
Oh,
Lasso,
yeah.
Yeah, I
when
love
he
Ted
said,
Lasso.
be curious, not judgmental. Was that what it was?
I don't remember that.
When he
but
was
I'm-
throwing darts with the mean guy?
Yes.
I think
yeah.
that's what he said.
Yes.
God, I love Ted Lasso.
Me too.
So those are
That's awesome.
I think we really, if our one big speech,
Someone may, from this, have us come speak at their school together.
oh my gosh, yes.
Do you think that's going to happen?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably hard.
If we know any educators out there listening, let us.
Yeah, I think we nailed it. I think they
think we
should
did
want us.
too.
They should want us to come and talk. I mean, we're fun.
We like to play fun games.
We're a really good time.
Is there anything social media wise that we need to know about? Because I was just going to talk as we wrap up here, give one shout out for a show that I have been watching that I think people should watch. And Kim, I think you've been watching it. I don't know if you've joined in,
Oh.
but it's Andrew Garfield in Under the Banner of Heaven
Yes.
on Hulu
Yes.
or
Yes.
FX.
Oh, we're watching.
On Hulu. Highly
Okay.
recommend.
Only 7 episodes. Could have been more. Just finished the last one. Don't want to give it away.
Yeah, I haven't
Super
finished
floored.
yet.
Wow.
Really?
It's based on a true story. It has to do with the Mormon faith, and it's eye-opening.
Cuckoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's eye-opening.
Yeah.
So very well done. Andrew Garfield is a great actor.
And I saw
So-
that Jason Bateman was one of the producers, so then you
Well,
know it
then
has to
that-
be.
yeah.
I
you
think
do know
there's
it
the
has to be
same
good.
12 people producing
I
everything we're
know
watching
it.
on Hulu and Netflix.
I'm
I'm not mad at them. I might be jealous, but it's the same
Same names.
same actors. Like the actor.
I noticed that because I watch so many different shows.
The other detective in that show.
Yeah, he was
in the one with Colette in that show.
Tony Collette.
That was on Netflix. I think it was Netflix.
Yeah, it was
like a month
Netflix.
ago.
But he was also on Yellowstone as the
Yes.
casino guy.
Yep.
And Maddie picked up that he also was the father of it's Twilight series, not Edward,
Yes.
the other guy.
Yeah, one of my kids said that too.
Yeah, he goes, that's the dad of so-and-so on the Twilight series. And I'm like, well, I'll be done. Yeah, so it is people,
the
they
same
kind of
people.
hop.
Yeah.
They really do.
So we need to get into that circle, and then we're going in our 50s to Hollywood, like you suggested.
Yes.
We're
Is
outta
that
here.
a suggestion that you made? I don't know.
I was going to say, besides that, I don't know if there's been any huge. Well, Stranger Things is back.
Okay.
I mean, that's fun. Do you watch it, Tracy? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I love it. I love Stranger Things. So,
I do have a friend whose daughter is number 13.
that's right. And I noticed that when I was watching the very
Did you?
first episode that they kind of were doing some flashbacks.
A friend's daughter is in the new Stranger Things. She's number 13 in the lab.
One of your friends?
Yeah.
Are you dropping names again?
She is.
Stop it. Is it Dan Quayle's daughter?
It is. Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, we'll also maybe next time.
We'll have maybe a pop culture wrap.
Let's have a pop
because there's
culture-
been lots of
Light.
stuff going on.
Yeah, I said lot and I meant
Yeah,
light.
lots of
Well,
stuff.
and that I feel like a lot of stuff is coming out.
Oh,
I
well-
don't know. Kim knows, but I just feel like there is.
Tracy wanted to say
Don't
that's what
say
she
it.
said.
Oh my gosh! I thought we were going to make
don't know
it
how that
through an
really goes
episode.
with-
It doesn't. It doesn't
You
matter.
Just let your mind wander with that one.
Okay, I'm cutting you guys off now. This is not that kind of podcast. Ridiculous.
Actually,
Would you end your commencement speech with "That's what she said"?
in any way possible.
All right, that's it. That's enough. Okay, thank you so much for joining us on Up for Grabs today. I hope that you take some of our advice, even if you're not graduating, to heart. And we'd love to know what your commencement speech would include. That maybe something that we didn't touch on. So, thanks for joining us, and join us next time.